Hi, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the Bellevue Youth Theater. Please take a seat and hold on to one of the lights in your seats. There is a special story behind them at the end of the show. Before we begin this evening, we would like to welcome some public officials joining us tonight, including Councilmember Conrad Lee right there. Before we start the program, please stand and remove your hats for the national anthem sung by Evie Woolman, a freshman at Bellevue High School.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you, Evie. Hello, everyone. My name is Brooke Chang, and I'm a senior at Bellevue High School. I serve as the co-president of the YouthLink Council and a board member to the YouthLink Board. As we look around at Bellevue's diversity today, we see a mixture of unique and different stories. They're often characterized by struggles of various degrees, magnitudes, shapes, and forms. These struggles and challenges look different for each person in our community, and it's important that we come together to understand each other's stories and truths. It is my honor to officially welcome you all to the City of Bellevue's second Diversity Celebration event, Unity Through Diversity, moving beyond first impressions. Our theme today is Share Your Stories, Tell Your Truths. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge and thank all those amazing people who made this event possible. First, I would like to thank our local vendors for providing such tasty bites, including Papaya, O India, and June's Bakery. Secondly, thank you to the Bellevue Youth Theater for providing us with a fantastic venue tonight. Third, I would like to call attention to our diversity planning team. Can everyone in the diversity planning team please stand? Okay, thank you. These students have worked very hard for many months with the Bellevue Youth Council and the City of Bellevue staff to put together this incredible event. We would also like to thank Mark Manuel and Patrick Alina for helping us put on this amazing event. And finally, to you all in the audience for coming out tonight, let's give a huge round of applause. Now, just to ensure everyone's safety and finish up our housekeeping, you can reach the restrooms by exiting the main theater to the 2 exits on your left here, taking an immediate right and walking to the end until you reach the restrooms. In addition, please watch your step as you move up and down the bleachers. Also, emergency exits are located right down here through the hallway if you keep going straight and through the double doors. And also, if you walk down past the back of the stage, there will be signs that will point you to the emergency exits. Finally, I would respectfully ask you all to please silence your cell phones. Let's all enjoy this event.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Ju, and I'm a junior from the International School of Bellevue. I serve on the Bellevue YouthLink Council as co-vice president with Philip, and I'm extremely honored to be here and represent the planning committee for this event. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Our event today will be centered on the notion of unity through diversity and how we can use different stories and truths to promote a multicultural and united community. Our emphasis for this event moves beyond a simple celebration of diversity and aims to bring us greater cultural understanding. Look around you. Among us here are representatives of many cultures. We have the opportunity tonight to highlight these differences that make us all important contributors to the community and recognize the similarities that govern our thinking and desires for our respective communities. Oftentimes, when we think about diversity, we may think of different groups connected within themselves. We may forget that each of these groups holds strong and unique individuals. Through this event, we want to acknowledge the motivated individuals that are instrumental in preserving and sharing culture. Any single person has the power to invoke change, and today, you'll be given the opportunity to see those very individuals on the stage. The organizations that we have represented today include BMB, Latino Heat, the Garifuna Daughters, and the Zanzibar community, as well as other amazing individuals such as Marco Bleshman and Idris Khosra. Tonight will be an expansion of your cultural capacity. I certainly hope that you enjoy yourselves and learn something new. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Philip Wong, and I'm a junior at the International School. I serve alongside Christina as co-vice president of our city's Youth Council, and am a member of the YouthLink board. The City Council vision statement reads, Bellevue welcomes the world. Our diversity is our strength. Bellevue's diversity is not only a defining characteristic of this city, but it's also an enormous asset. It provides our community with competitive advantages in a variety of areas. It enriches our culture. It supplements our arts. It broadens our educational perspectives, and it brings new leadership to our great city. Wherever we go, we see and experience the influence of an extraordinary mix of lifestyles, customs, and heritage. This is why we want to focus on learning about the varying experiences that people of different cultures have encountered. We chose our theme, Share Your Stories, Tell Your Truth, tonight to really emphasize this goal. Diversity has a very broad definition, and there will be multiple groups of people represented today. Every single person has their own story, and we want to make this place a place for them to share their truth of their experiences. A rich and successful society isn't created by understanding that everyone is the same. It is created by celebrating the uniqueness of every one of its members. By learning about the individuality of every person, we can unite to build a stronger world. In Bellevue, there are over 95 languages spoken by members across our city. People of color make up over 50% of our resident population. They help to better incorporate the needs of a vast range of subcommittees into our day-to-day decisions. Diversity is one of our city's greatest strengths. The push for unity through diversity has been very important to our city council. Bellevue's diversity work is rooted in the principles of equity, access, inclusion, opportunity, and cultural competence. We are honored today to be joined by Councilmember Conrad Lee. Councilmember Lee was first elected to our city council in 1994. He is Bellevue's first minority member of the city council and has been the longest continuous serving member of the council. He has worked extremely hard to accomplish the diversity initiatives of our city, and his dedication is so impactful. Now, please join me in welcoming Councilmember Conrad Lee.
Well, thanks, Philip. Well, I'm really happy to be here tonight, and because I'm going to be talking about the two most important and dearest topic to me. One is diversity. The other one is young people. And so both of these are the topics we're going to talk about. And I think that you guys are doing real well to put my speech on the screen, right? And don't bother with that too much. And I will just basically emphasize on what I think is important, and to me and also to the city of Bellevue. as you can see around you, we are all different. You all come from different backgrounds, different places. So it's wonderful that we, as a city of Bellevue, and we exemplify, the spirit of differences. And the country, America, is also a place, of immigrants, the nation of immigrants. We welcome, we appreciate all people from all over the world. It's easy said and done, however, to say that we welcome diversity. Because diversity, we recognize, it's our strength. It makes our country strong, makes our community strong. But the the challenge is also, there's challenges. Diversity makes a lot of differences, bring all the different ideas and different backgrounds, different experiences together. So it's very difficult to make it work. And so there's challenges we need to overcome. Not just speaking about it, not just talking about it, not just putting, on a motto that we welcome diversity. We need to make it work. As a council member, I always talk about devil is in the detail. How do we make diversity? How do we make our differences work together to make our country strong, make our community strong? And that takes effort, takes work. And, we know there's a lot of differences we bring. But, however, we must remember, we have more common goals. We have more similarities than we have differences, especially if you want to make it that way. Because we can dwell on all our time, talk about differences. We never come to any agreement, and we don't get anything accomplished. But if we put our goal, emphasis, and energy on the things that we want to achieve in common, which is something that we all share, it's our well-being, our community, our family, our life, our welfare, our children, our education. If we can do all that, we can put our differences aside, and we can accomplish great things. And this is what some of us in our community have accomplished. So I think we need to focus on the wonderful opportunity we have, the diversity we have, and the attitude we have welcoming folks from everywhere, including myself. I came here to the United States almost 60 years ago. I was born in China, went to Hong Kong, and came to this country for college. And it's a wonderful thing to have the opportunity. It's only in the United States of America when we can live and realize our American dream. As an immigrant coming here for college, many of you are probably in similar situations. Some of you are born here, but still, you have not the same roots and support as people who have been here for a long time. But we are giving the opportunity, and we can realize what you are interested in, what each of us can maximize our potential in. So this is a great, great country. So I speak enough about diversity and the importance of it and how we can make it work. The second most, favorite that I have is in young people. It's in you, because you are the future. We have great, great future opportunities ahead of us. And we have technology, that's we never seen before. That's growing and changing so fast. And we are making the world a lot more efficient. And we can do a lot more than we have ever dreamt before. So you have the responsibility. And the world is yours. And what's going to be like, we really cannot say, we cannot give you a cast, in concrete that this is what the world's going to be. But the world's going to be better because of the ability, the tools that we are working with. And because the world's going to be better because of what you want it to be, what you can make it as a great, great community and great world for you and the future, for your descendants, for your future generation. We can talk, we can do things for today, but once, we get in the future, it's your dream. It's what you want to realize. So it is you, and you have demonstrated that. You have worked hard, and you as members of Youth Council, Youth Link, It's amazing that we are very proud of you. I myself, I work with a lot of young people, and it gives me a lot of promise, a lot of opportunity, a lot of enthusiasm, and how you can, have the ability to make the world a better place. And I'm sure your parents, people like myself, we are very, very hopeful when we look forward to helping you, encouraging you, and provide the foundation to make you successful and to make you the world that you want to be, a better world than we know it today. So I'm very excited, and I want to thank you for coming. Thank the people from all over the world, the diversity that we have, the global divergence of people finding this country to be a place where we can realize our potential. And I am really excited even more by the young people as you that can make this world such a wonderful place. And so I want to again thank you, and I'm really happy to be here, and I'm happy to speak briefly, even though it may be a bit longer than some of you expected. But I hope you will remember how proud I am of you people, of people who are willing to take the risk to come to a country, to risk everything you have, and to look for a better future. And then to the young people, such as you, who have taken a lot of time, energy, to do whatever you are interested in, to see more than just what happens today, but what you can do, as you have the ability and opportunity to make the world, a better place than today. So we're going to sit here and enjoy, and remind us how wonderful it is, what a wonderful evening it is. So seize the opportunity and take the world and go out and make this world and make this community, make Bellevue a much better place than it is today. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, Councilmember Lee, for those inspiring words. My name is Hannah Leland, and I'm a senior at Bellevue High School, and I serve on the Bellevue Youth Link Council as co-events coordinator. I would now like to introduce our first performance of the night, Becca and Betania, the creators of the spoken word group B&B. Becca and Betania are freshmen at Newport High School, speaking about their stories of being African Americans in today's society. This presentation displays their loss of identity that has developed from the clash between their African and American cultures. While Betania is speaking about the common challenges she has faced growing up as an Ethiopian immigrant, Becca will be performing an interpretive dance as a visual representation of the emotions and obstacles felt throughout the story. It is common practice in spoken word poetry for audience members to snap when they agree with or are moved by a certain idea. We encourage you to snap your fingers, but hold your applause till the end in order to prevent the performers from becoming distracted. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to B&B.
A ringing in my ear, so deafening I could no longer hear. Butterflies expanded their wings where they were not welcome. But with courage I took as a loan, I entered the room. Welcome to first grade, a place you will learn to find your way, but most importantly, find your place. Sit it down, they rushed to feel my hair. Captured, I told them the stories of Africa. Now the storyteller, I wore my 10 braids like a peacock wears his feathers. Here, the beginning of a culture I forgot, a heritage I resented. Thoughts overwhelming, time traveled through memories, then settled. I opened my eyes, I hadn't realized we're close to the phase of my father. Age's beauty shone through the silverings of his hair. I asked a glass and questioned identity. He shattered and answered, "You are not black. This land is not ours, and don't get confused by your skin color because you are not an African American." He built a wall, preventing me to ever feel fellowship with the people of my own skin. Riddled, I looked down to the pigmentation to look for difference, touched my hair to only find 9 braids. Pleading his case, he begged me not to forget separation. Prejudice instilled for his own people, slavery a distant memory of faults, regaining its glory. Another braid falls, along with it my faith, and transitions of memory took place. In replacement of my dad is a boy asking what Africa was like. Excited for another story, I told him of the colors, the beautiful houses, and the different kinds of people. I told him of devoted sunshines that never broke their cycle, and at the end of it, he laughs. He says, "You're not really African, are you?" A real African is probably homeless, he says with a giggle, like starving in Africa was inevitable. Tears of healing fall and mix with a braid. Hatred of my culture begin to formulate. I cried for a skin I lived in but felt nothing to me. Stripped of an existence I had no people. Selfish I branded. Now deemed a hypocrite, I stopped telling stories that were mine to tell. The familiar throbbing takes place. I close my eyes to sink in peace and awaken to an illustrated slave ship. A spidering white hand points. I turn. A girl shows me my place, promising me this is where I belonged. She chuckles, and I chuckle. We both laugh. I then begin to scream. Accusations fly at bigotry, at entitlement. Assurance of involvement lay destroyed in her hands. Prosperity a given lie, when color is the only factor, the only identity we need to identify. History classes broadcasting deprived natives, stole Africa's pride and returned it compressed to nothingness. Consumerism the only goal, profit the only fulfillment. We stole ancestors and returned it in a website. Rapid thoughts lead me into remembrance of all the moments of participation, of times I raised my hands feeling as if bricks pulled me down, as if everyone knew this. The last of my braids fall. Dignity falls. Integrity falls. With no label, I was lost. With no culture, I was lonely. What remained was blackness along with its darkness, like coffee, bitterness binded in my aroma. Relying on creamer and milk to hide my insecurities. Attachment turned into addiction of artificial flavor to disguise my taste. I took my curls and shaped them into a fist. And I began to be fond with the notion that if I drowned my culture deep enough, laugh at racist jokes loud enough, and whitewash myself just a little bit more, then maybe, finally, people could look past prejudice. Thank you.
Thank you, Becca and Betania, for your wonderful performance tonight. My name is Alicia Liu, and I'm a senior at Newport High School and co-secretary of the YouthLink Council. I have the pleasure of introducing you all to Soraya Sambula and Deja Green. They are the Garifuna daughters who will be performing a cultural dance of the Afro-Caribbean Garifuna people, who originated from the West African slave population of the Caribbean island of St. Vincent. Today, Garifunas live in the US, Canada, and in communities along the Caribbean Sea, and their population stands upwards of 300,000 people. Please welcome the Garifuna daughters.
Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance, gal? Do you wanna dance? Yeah. Little chula boom, jump. Let's go. Getting ready tonight. You wanna dance tonight. You wanna boom tonight. You wanna move tonight. Get ready to party. It's time to party. Get ready to boom time. But let me ask you, do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance, gal? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance, gal? Do you wanna dance? Sarah, you shake it like that. 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 Sarah. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Let's go. Little chula boom, jump. 1, 2, 3. wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance, gal? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance, gal? Do you wanna dance? Sarah, shake it like that. 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 Sarah, do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance, gal? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance, gal? Do you wanna dance? Sarah, shake it like that. 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 Sarah, welcome to Lil June, Full-Time Music World. Yeah, we did it. Gotti Funa Music, let's go. Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Sarah, shake it left to right, left to right, left to. Sarah, shake it left to right, left to right. Sarah, shake it left to right, left to right, left to. Sarah, shake it left to right, left to right, left to.
Wow, let's have another round of applause for that amazing performance. We'd like to give them a big thank you for preparing that dance. The next guest speaker I'd like to introduce is Latino Heat. Latino Heat is a program of Youth Eastside Services and also represents Latino youths in the Eastside region. Members of Latino Heat take action and address problems that they are passionate about in the community. Members also participate in youth and academic development and cultural activities, including conferences, forums, and cultural celebrations such as Dia de los Muertos, Dia del Niño, and Dia de las Madres. Now please help me welcoming Latino Heat.
Hello.
My name is Rosa, and I am co-vice president of Latino Heat. And we are Latino Heat, Hispanos en Acción together, and we want to thank you guys for inviting us. And giving us space to express ourselves. Without an invitation, silence is given a home. And the following words are Cesar Chavez's, and they inspire us. If you really want to make a friend, go to someone's house and eat with them. The people who give you their food give you their heart. We hope that our words feed you. The purpose of our group, Latino Heat, is to preserve our culture. It has brought us together and showed us that Latinos can succeed too. But we won't get further without unifying and getting across our differences. We create a home in Latino Heat to welcome those who have felt rejected, not welcome, and not respected.
Hello, my name is Eric Mercado. I'm the president of Latino Heat. In our group, we value diversity. Without diversity, we can't challenge each other's thinking. That's why we practice our culture throughout the year by learning traditions and educating others of our culture and history. This group is also a response to racism. Racism is prejudice plus power. We reclaim our power and we reaffirm our identity, and our identity and our parents' roots. By understanding who we are and who we are not, we know where we are going. And this path paved by this path paved with struggle, sacrifice, and success. This path has taught me to never forget the voiceless and the poor, and I ask that we all should use our culture to prove who we are and give voice to the voiceless and help the poor to rise up. And I'll present to you Aline, who is going to read a poem.
Hello, my name is Aline and I'm a member of Latino Heat. I'm going to present to you a poem and I named it Us. We are not just a culture, we are a family. We may not all be from the same country or look similar, but we are Latinos. We know each other's struggles, racism, undocumented status, being oppressed in our futures, barriers to college and jobs, being dehumanized daily all over. Thought all we do is use drugs, are in gangs, and get pregnant. We stand together as one, stating no human is illegal. Not just for us, but for those who also know the struggle. Those who are fed up with the remarks and just want to be grateful for what they have. We aren't our stereotypes. We won't let anyone else tell us otherwise. Motivated by our heroes that dealt with the struggle and honoring them. Our family makes sacrifices for goals and for our children. We are capable to make it no matter the obstacle. We always remember that the only thing to overcome is ourselves, not just for us, but everyone in this space, in this world. And we can never forget that sí se puede.
Thank you.
Thank you, Latino Heat, for your powerful performance. My name is Rojan Karazi, and I'm a senior at Bellevue High School. Along with Hannah, I serve as the co-events coordinator on the Bellevue Youth Link Council. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Marco Bleshmet. He's a senior at Bellevue High School and the former president of Pride Club. As president, he reached out to the citizens of the community and talked about issues that the LGBTQ community faces. Marco is also involved in raising awareness for sexual assault and consent for our community by helping organize a consent presentation at Bellevue High. Moreover, he is also an active voice in HPV awareness campaigns. Through his tireless efforts, he makes Bellevue a safer and a more welcoming place, and we are honored to have him here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marco Bleshmet.
Sorry, I'm not that short. Sorry. Hi, guys. How are you? I'm really happy to be here. So I'm going to be reading just my story, just really compressed into a short story, you know, like a tiny thing. Okay. I lay there in the darkness, letting my eyes slowly adjust. I reached to grab my phone from the nightstand and pressed the home button. 1:17 a.m. It was times like this when my life had calmed down enough so that my mind could wander. I pulled back the various layers protecting me from the cold, open air, and crawled across the carpet to the opposite end of the room. From underneath the brick-colored dresser, I retrieved a dusty shoebox that contained pictures of my childhood. As I rummaged through the piles, my chest tingled with a lingering sense of nostalgia. It was hard to believe that the skinny girl with the long chestnut hair was once me. When I was younger, I followed the expectations that my parents had set out for me. In those days, I was the perfect lady who wore dresses on Sundays and drank tea with my grandmother. But as I outgrew those dresses and learned more about the world, I began to feel increasingly uncomfortable and distant from the girly things that once defined me. It was not until much later I discovered who I truly was, a transgender male. To reflect this change, I decided to sever the long hair that held me back, looking to my mother for permission. What should have been simple turned into a long and complicated struggle. Not only did my mother not approve of me cutting my hair short, she mocked me. I could hear her voice echo inside my head. No boy will ever want you. You look hideous. Her words tormented me, and I felt the iron ball of self-hatred that dwelled inside of me grow larger with each passing insult. Why could my own mother not accept my transition and understand why it was so important? It was not just about my appearance, but me seeking to emulate what I felt inside. Luckily, my dad was more sympathetic toward my cause, and one night we ventured to a barber shop and I watched as my ponytail departed from my head. By the way, that was the day before school started. The freedom and weightlessness that I felt with my new haircut was very liberating, and over the course of the school year, I was reassured with the love of my peers and my teachers. I finally started to regain my confidence. Many years later, while traveling the Philippines, I stumbled upon a wig store, and as I circled the tiny shop, my eyes ran across something familiar, a wig in the top left corner that resembled my long hair. With the help of a clerk, I put the wig on and was handed a mirror. Staring at my reflection, I could not help but chuckle at the boy with the silly, ill-matched wig. In that moment, I realized how happy and comfortable I had become. No longer was I a confused little girl, but a confident transgender male. Thank you. And I just want to say, for a side note, this isn't really written, so I'm sorry if this comes out as bad, but there's a lot of people that are gonna be out there and they're not gonna accept you for who you are, and they're gonna go out there and they're gonna try and attack you and tell you that you're not valuable and you're not valid, and that's simply not true. And some of those people in your life, it may end up being your parents. It may end up being people that you really love and trust and really want you to support and accept you for who you are, because that you feel that that's what they're there for. That's what they're supposed to do. So it was really hard for me to try and understand how I could live with my mother and actually also my father not accepting who I was. But I've come to a point where I realize those people that have demonized you and told you that you're not worth it, you might need to accept that, and you might have to go on your wedding day, and you might have to have kids without them there, but you're gonna have people, amazing people, that love you and accept you, and those are your best friends in your life, and I'm thankful for all these wonderful people.
Marco, for your speech. My name is Tiffany Lee. I am a senior at Newport High School, and I am currently serving as the co-secretary of the Bellevue Youth Council. Today, I have the honor of introducing Idris Khosraw. Idris is a senior at Bellevue High School. He is on the Bellevue High School ASB team, and he is also the president of the Japanese National Honor Society. Today, he will be sharing a speech about how his childhood is different from many of his peers, since he comes from multiple backgrounds. Now, please give a warm welcome to Idris.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name's Idris Khosraw. I'm president of the Youth Council along with Brooke, and today I will be reading you a story that I wrote about growing up as a multicultural. I am 50% Afghani, 25% Japanese, and 25% Irish. All this forms 100% of who I am. Yet 75% of me feels ashamed, for I am only proud of 25% of my race. In the 4th grade, I was first called a terrorist by one of my own classmates. I was ridiculed and casted away from my elementary school society for my Afghani heritage, as my peers were convinced I was part of the Taliban. I was then labeled as a traitor to America when we first learned about Pearl Harbor in middle school. However, never did we once learn about the injustices that occurred in Japanese internment camps. At that point, the only identity that I had left to cling on to was my Irish heritage. In the following years, I reveled in my 25% Irish blood, and lived out the rest of my life with 75% shame. After years of dealing with such, my primitive instincts seized control, and I did what the oppressed have done for the thousands of years. I adapted. My childhood comprised of a series of battles in the long war between the Afghani and Japanese side of me. Every choice had to be characterized as either one or the other. I had to literally choose what side of me I wanted to put forth during every moment of every day. What box did I check when I registered for Facebook? Would I take part in Nowruz this year, or would I choose to celebrate Kodomo no Hi instead? Which grandparents would I visit this winter? I believe that since these two dominant cultures were so diametrically opposite to one another, I had an obligation to choose which person I wanted to be at any given time. The embarrassment and shame that I had carried with me for so long disappeared with the news that the only mosque in our city had been burned to the ground. This was a mosque that my late grandmother used to take me to, one of the only childhood memories that I had where I did not feel shame about my Afghani heritage, but instead I felt joy. That morning, I found out that the only connection I had with her was burned to the ground. The home to the memories we had were destroyed. Suppressing identities changes people. I felt the need to suppress 3 identities through most of my adolescence, not only my Afghani and Japanese heritage, but also the fact that I was multiracial. But I realized that this trifecta could not be separated again. I had to merge the trifecta. That morning, I was angered with not only how the way minorities have been treated, but how horribly I had been treating myself. I started orienting around learning more about my heritage. I indulged in studies of my Afghani and Japanese descent, finally embracing who I am. I became involved with clubs dealing with equality, and eventually worked myself to being president of the Japanese National Honor Society. I struggled to change my own vision, yet it didn't feel like it was enough. Every part of me wanted to do more, and it turned from helping myself to striving to create a better, fully equal society. Unacceptance and inequality lives in all facets of the world. However, the passion for change does too. The world struggles to create a society where we all live in harmony, but I will strive to do everything I can to be a key part in the steps toward equality. Thank you.
Idris, for sharing your powerful story. Finally, I am excited to introduce a community on the east side. They are a volunteer organization from Zanzibar. Their key objective is to promote a commitment to the spirit of togetherness. Through this, they want to achieve an integrated and shared U.S. Zanzibari culture. Today, they will be presenting a dance show, which is usually performed by Zanzibar women during wedding ceremonies. The main purpose of this dance is to help connect children to their cultural roots. Please welcome the Zanzibar community.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kauthar Salum, and on behalf of the Zanzibar community of Washington, also known as the KUSA, we would like to indulge you this evening in a little bit of what it means to be from Zanzibar. Today, we are going to present to you a dance from our tradition, but before we can get to the good part, I would like to explain the meaning behind this dance and how it connects to our culture. In a few minutes, some of the community youth members from our community are going to perform a dance called Bomu. Historically, this dance is performed by women at wedding ceremonies in celebration of what the future holds for the happy couple. Bomu is essentially an accumulation of 3 stories being told in the form of dance and song. It is passed down from our elders to teach us important life lessons that we will hopefully take as we grow. These stories include one about a family feud involving Kombo and his first wife, one about a man named Mselemu escaping to a local brewing village in Zanzibar named Kianga after making some very poor and questionable life decisions. And lastly, we finish with the story of village gossip of the neighbors about a local who has been causing disturbance. These stories, although very complex when they stand alone, collectively form to teach us 3 life lessons, which in our culture, especially in the village, are deemed very important. These lessons are: being faithful in one's marriage, humility, and most importantly, establishing good spending habits, also known as not wasting all your money and having a good savings account. Bomu is just one of the many examples of what it means to be from Zanzibar. What it means to be Zanzibari, if you will, comes down to our stories and how we as different generations keep them alive and continue to pass them down, using them as teaching tools for those who will come after us. Without our stories, we do not know our past. Without our stories, our history and the past of our people that have led us to our ancestors are forgotten. And in order to create the present that we are so fortunate of having today, we must remember them. And we are simply not ourselves without them. Being from Zanzibar means being proud of coming from white sand, blue waters, muddy plains, and rough terrain. Being proud of coming from the backs of hardworking and determined people who sought greatness and power in places no one thought of before them, who, through migration and connections, created the megalopolis of the cosmopolitan city, or country, that we are today. And personally, for the youth of this community and myself, we are proud of coming from a country where our families and parents have left, and coming into this country far from our motherland, where although we have established as our home and have loved for many years, is still not the aspiring home of our parents. But we are here because of their selfless dreams of pushing us to do better, to have better than them, and to hopefully one day continue the cycle of sacrifices and their storytelling to create the better future for generations to come, much like what Bomu has and will continue to do for years and years. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we Zakusa present to you Bomu, a Zanzibarian story.
Thank you so much to the Zanzibar community for that wonderful and fun performance. One more round of applause for them. We're going to have one more additional performance by Latino Heat, and they will be coming on stage right now. Let's give a round of applause for them.
Good evening once again. We're back again. So we're gonna perform a dance from the Aztec dance. So it's something from our background history of the Hispanics and Latinos. So we're gonna dance, and then after that, I'm gonna explain what the steps mean and everything. Oh, sorry. So this dance is represented by nature. In this dance, we value the important needs for human beings to survive. The four values that are part of the dance is fire, which is fuego, water, which is agua, wind, which is viento, and land, which is tierra. Those four are the essential needs that a human being needs in order to survive, to grow the food for us to eat, the water to keep us hydrated, the fire to cook our food and to keep us warm, and the wind in order to breathe. So I'm gonna represent which steps mean what. So So usually this dance is danced for welcoming and for the ending to saying a goodbye. So because there's other dances that mean other things like fire, water, and land have their own dance, but this is like the beginning, the introduction of a dance in order to welcome the other dances and to ask the spirits to welcome us. So I'm gonna say something personal that once I started doing this, I felt good because I was bringing back to life some culture that is my background because this culture is dying every single day. Like no one practices anymore. So we want to bring it back to life. So it's really nice and it makes you feel better because of all these spirits that are presented. And most of y'all will be asking what these are for. And these are for to protect us from negative spirits. So for us, like to not hit us in the brain. And we also have one in the stomach, but we didn't have those today. So yeah, so we're gonna end it again with the dance. Thank you.
Thank you, Latino Heat. Thank you all for coming tonight. It has been a privilege to present to you the City of Bellevue's second Unity Through Diversity event. We hope you have learned something tonight about the abundance of diversities, stories, and truths in our beautiful city of Bellevue, as well as the strength of our community as we move together towards a greater future.
Overall, we hope that you enjoyed the performances, booths, and of course, the food. And we hope that you've made a new friend along the way. Please give a big thank you to everyone who helped make this event possible, from our fantastic performers and speakers, to our amazing food vendors, to the event hosts at our beautiful venue, and to the planning teams for putting an immense amount of work to put this event together.
Finally, we want to acknowledge and express our gratitude for the city's support. Thank you especially to Councilmember Lee, who spoke at the start of this event, as well as to other elected officials who took the time to celebrate the diversity in our community and support this event. One more round of applause. Before everyone leaves for the night, we would like to address the candles that were placed on your seats upon arrival. These candles represent the stories and truths in our city. Powered on, these candles light up our surroundings, revealing more about our community members than you previously knew. We encourage you to take home these candles as a reminder to not only be conscious of the diversity in our city, but throughout the country and throughout the world. Once again, thank you for joining us and making this an absolutely wonderful evening. One more round of applause.